The school has just started the Gender and Sexuality Alliance.
We take a look at the new locker room rule.
And we talk about Music Fest.
I'm here against my will.
And I'm Jessie, and welcome to JDTV News.
If you're dead inside and you know it, clap your hands.
Hey Alex, I heard something pretty cool is happening.
Yes, the second annual World Language Declamation is taking place at TMHS tomorrow from 9 to 11:30. Students from each high school will compete by reciting authentic poems of their preferred language and/or participating in impromptu dialogues with a teammate. If you want to compete, registration for poems is at 8:30 and registration for dialogues is at 10:15. The available languages are Spanish, French, and Russian.
And next, we sent one of our reporters to the school's new GSA, or Gender Sexuality Alliance.
The GSA, or Gender Sexuality Alliance, is a school organization here at JDHS with the goal of creating a safe and comfortable space for kids in the LGBTQ community.
I think the GSA in JDHS is important because it gives LGBT students recognition and it shows the community that we are here and that we need to be accepted. And
I think it's important, especially in 2016, to help the movement and help kids have a safe place to discuss ideas, have a place to disseminate information, and to broaden our school's perspective.
Well, continuing on with that subject, I went and reported on the new locker room rule benefiting transgender students.
Let's take a look.
Most of the student body in JDHS do not know that there is a new rule to help transgender students feel more comfortable around school. Before this year, transgender students had to stay in the bathrooms and locker rooms that they felt were not fitting for their gender. But thanks to Eric McDonald, this has changed.
Students who identify as something other than what they were born as and what generally everybody else knows them as, it lets them express themselves and feel comfortable identifying as they feel like they should, and by using the bathroom or the locker room that they feel that they need to, because that's what they identify with, it helps them feel more comfortable with themselves.
The LGBT students are starting to look up at the new recognition and acceptance, but some of the staff and student body have some worries about their safety.
I did it first when we first enacted it because we didn't give a whole lot of notice. We just mentioned it to the students that were there, I think, on the first day. So those that missed it didn't get that information. So I was a little worried that people would react negatively, but I'm not really concerned now. It doesn't seem to have happened that way.
I know all students aren't going to accept this rule because some people just either don't get it or don't want to believe that it's a thing. Sad to say. I would like to hope that most people would at least be tolerant of it and be open to the idea, but I know for a fact that not everyone's going to be okay with it.
I'm glad LGBT students are finally getting some recognition. Some other students getting recognition are the students who recently traveled to Music Fest.
The Music Fest festivities finally came to a finish at the start of the week. Participants returned home after a week at Ketchikan where they took part in workshops, small ensembles, and large-scale performances with the other schools. It was a memorable few days full of amazing talent and skill that participants will remember for years to come.
Always good to see more school activities featured.
Speaking of activities, now we go to Steven with the sports. How's your teams looking?
Thanks, Jesse. This week was again a quiet week for most of the JDHS sports teams. There were only games from the JDHS baseball team. Let's see how they went. On Monday, we had 2 games. First, our baseball team played against Petersburg. We won with a score of 8-1. Bryce Swafford was JD's pitcher. Then JD beat Petersburg again with a score of 14-4. Michael Caesar pitched that time. On Tuesday, there was another baseball game. JD beat Petersburg again with a score of 15-4. Overall, a great week for the baseball team. Next week, things will surely heat up with soccer, softball, and track. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Steven.
Now let's move on to the weekly calendar segment.
The boys baseball team and the softball team are in a tournament in Sitka. Boys soccer is in Ketchikan. Girls varsity and junior varsity soccer face off against Ketchikan at 5 and 6:45. Also, the track team will be traveling to Ketchikan.
On Saturday, the boys baseball team will still be away in Sitka. Boys soccer is in Ketchikan. Softball is in Sitka, and the times of the games are to be announced. Track and field will be in Ketchikan, and girls junior varsity and varsity soccer will again be against Ketchikan at 5 and 6:45. In addition to school sports, there is a comic festival in town this weekend. Alaska Robotics is hosting a wonderful event with lots to do all over town. Be sure to check out their website for more information at minicon.alaskarobotics.com.
On Tuesday, girls soccer will be at Thunder Mountain at 5 and 6:45.
On Thursday, softball will be playing against Ketchikan and Homer at Melvin Park at 3.
Well, that about wraps up the calendar for this week.
Looks like a lot of interesting things coming up inside and out. Now for my favorite part of the show, weather. Take it away, Marcellin.
Thank you, Jessie. Spring is here. Flowers are blooming, allergies make everybody sneeze, and bears are waking up. By the way, be careful on the trails. Tourists are coming back really soon. Well, at least that's easy to recognize them. They wear a plastic bag on their heads to protect them from Juneau's famous sun. After such a great week for the weather, rain and clouds are coming back for the weekend. Today, as you might have noticed, the sky is gray and rain is likely to arrive. The temperature will stay pretty warm with highs around 56. Tomorrow, the weather will be mostly similar, rain and highs around 54. Why didn't I go on exchange in Fairbanks? It will be sunny with 65 degrees on Saturday. Well, at least that's easy to do the weather forecast in Juneau. I can tell you that Sunday will be rainy and I have a 99.9% chance to be accurate. Who can tell if I really check that information? All I can say is that barbecues will wait a few more weeks. Days are getting longer and longer. If you need to hide a body at night, your time gets shorter, Jessie. Just saying. Well, that's all I have for this week's weather. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks,
Be careful,
Marcellin.
Alex.
Thanks, Marcellin. Stay warm out there. Well, that's all the time we have for this week's show. Be sure to check out our website at jdhsvideo.org.
Also, if you're on Twitter, be sure to follow us at JDHS Video.
See you next week.